Hello, you beautiful people. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about 5 players that I think you should sell high on in your fantasy leagues this year. So before we begin, feel free to like and subscribe for NBA and fantasy content. I try to upload 6 times a week, and leave your guys' picks for sell high players in the comments below. And also, I just got a new mic, so if you guys could let me know what you think of the quality, that would really help me out. And yeah, let's just jump right into the video. So as always, we start with the player in the thumbnail, and it's actually going to be Bradley Beal. And this might seem controversial considering he's the leading scorer in the league right now, but that's kind of contributing to my point because I just don't think he's going to be able to sustain these numbers. And it's not a knock on Beal or anything, but like, he's the only one on Washington that can score consistently, and it's just really hard to shoulder that kind of offense for 72 games. And also with all the trade rumors swirling around his name, the Wizards have expressed that like they don't want to trade him somewhere that he doesn't want to go, and in my mind I can't see Bradley Beal wanting to go somewhere that's not a contender. That just kind of shows that he's not going to be able to put up these same numbers just because he's not going to get the same amount of shot attempts on a contending team. So yeah, I think it's a good time to trade high on him just because his value is insanely high and you can get a really good return for him right now. So yeah, I think that's why he's going to be the first player on our list. And yeah, let's just move on to the next player. So for the next player, we're actually going to stay in Washington, and that's going to be Russell Westbrook, his backcourt mate. And I mean, I think we all know that you really don't want to have Russell Westbrook on your team at this point, but he is just coming off of 2 good games, so you might be able to sell high on him. I mean, this is kind of a stretch, but I was just thinking, like, I know a lot of people know not to have him on their team, but I just feel like even more people need to know, like, please trade Russell Westbrook if he's on your squad. It's just not worth having him. The injury risks, the not playing back-to-backs, and I think this is a good time to sell high on him just because there might be some recency bias if people are looking at his recent game log, and yeah, I think he's just a great player to trade high on, or just trade it all. Like, just get him off your team, man. It's not worth it in the long run, and yeah, he's going to be our second player. So the third player on the list is someone that I actually just talked about in my most overrated players video, which I'll link right here, but it's going to be Lonzo Ball. Now, if you watch that video, like I said, I did go into more detail, but the gist of it is just like, the Pelicans are using him as a 2 guard. He really just can't shoot that well at the moment. I mean, I have faith that he's going to figure it out because I'm a biased Lonzo Ball fan. I'm just going to be real. But yeah, I just feel like the Pelicans aren't using him properly. He's really not a spot-up shooter. He's more of a playmaker, and they just really haven't been using him like that. I mean, they got Eric Bledsoe running the show, which, I mean, in the playoffs, it's just not going to work at all. We've seen that before, but for the regular season, they both just can't shoot. Nobody on the Pelicans roster can shoot other than Ingram, and it's just really not conducive to helping Lonzo perform well for fantasy because if he's only going to be a spot-up shooter and he's not going to be able to get the same amount of assists because he's not running the point, there's really not a lot of fantasy value for him. And yeah, I think he's a good sell-high player just because the past few games he has been playing relatively well, but I just don't think he can sustain it on the Pelicans. And yeah, I think coming off the back of those recent good games, he's a really good sell-high player. So the next player is going to be someone that's actually been a relatively consistent fantasy player this year, and that's Clarke. And the only reason I think he's a sell-high player is just like the return of Jaren Jackson Jr. is looming. I know it seems like every game they say doubtful, and then they change it to out, but I promise he is going to be back soon, and when he does get back, it's just like it's over for Clarke's fantasy value, man. Like, he's barely worth having on a roster at that point. Well, he is a good post scorer, rebounder, he's got a really good floater. It's just like he's not going to get the minutes to make him relevant for fantasy playing under Jaren Jackson Jr. And yeah, it's a shame they're the same position, but I don't know if Memphis will try something weird with him at the 5, but I just feel like his value is going to diminish. Like, they have Valanciunas, so like there's really a crowded front court and not a lot of room for Clarke, and I feel like he's the odd guy out. So yeah, I feel like that's why he's a sell-high target just before Jaren Jackson gets back. You might as well get as much value as you can for him. And with that being said, let's just move on to the last player. So the real ones already know, if you made it this far into the video, you're not a casual, so drop a Austin Rivers for MVP if you made it this far, just so I know where the real ones are at. Really appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Makes me really want to make more of them. And yeah, the last player on the list is going to be someone that I said I like way too much, and it's going to be Marvin Bagley. And he just has been like the poster child of inconsistency due to his injury history, and I just don't have faith that he's going to stay healthy for a whole season, and I feel like anytime he has a good stretch of games, you should just be like, I'm going to trade this dude, because like I said with Russell Westbrook, it's just like the injury concerns, man. It's just not worth having him on your team, and if he is going to put up some good games, you might as well take advantage and trade him for a more reliable fantasy producer. And with that being said, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great day.